and welcome to the River Wye, and you join us on day 2 of the Milo Bait Tech Spring 2-day festival. The river's been in scintillating form. Never seen anything like it on day 1. It was 7 weights over 100 pounds, 153 pounds winning, and like many winter venues, yes, there's an epicentre, there's hot areas, but the amount of fish that was spread over about sort of 30 to 35 pegs yesterday was just phenomenal, and people catching £100 and not winning a penny, just incredible. So might be a bit harder in areas like this, but it's all to fish for. It's a very short format. It's 6 peg sections, so really you need 2 section wins, probably, but you never know. But there's some good anglers on good pegs, and it's looking like it's going to be a very interesting day.
Well, here I am with the reigning champion and a section win from yesterday for Joe Holloway. Joe, what do you reckon?
Yeah, fancy for a few fish today.
So what number is this?
81.
81. Now, opposite here, I know Spud caught a big weight, didn't he, on the other bank, but is the other bank normally better than this one?
First 2 pegs are, and then the middle of the section is usually good, but I think this is fair section. It could be one from anyone. You know.
Brilliant. And what's the plan of attack going to be, mate?
Bollow early, catch some chub, and then just scratch around if it's like yesterday, trying to catch a few bits.
Hot roach and dace on the inside?
Some dace and perch, probably.
Brill. Well, let's see what happens. Very best of luck, pal.
Cheers.
Right, I'm here with Colin Nicholson, section winner from yesterday. Colin, what's the plan?
The plan today is to, very simple, catch more weight than anyone else in my section. No, I'm on a peg where Spud was on yesterday, 55, 90 pounds yesterday, bollo down the middle, got plenty of ground bait mixed up, going to fish some meat, 2 bollos, a 6 and an 8, and see how we go.
You're a regular here on these festivals, mate. What would it mean to you to win this one?
What would it mean? I'd probably cry. And that's the truth. Just the emotion, you know. I love my fishing. I know I very rarely win anything. Put a team performance in now and again, but to win this for myself would be lovely.
Well, here we are, folks. Carl Biddle, section winner from yesterday. Carl, a nice peg today for you, peg 65.
Yeah, end peg, Tom. You got to fancy it, really. There was £100 weights here yesterday. Yeah, just going to fish 2 lines. Basically, be down the middle most of the day. It's going to be chub to win it, so it's going to be all out chub attack, maggot and ground bait, and hopefully catch a few, really.
Sounds brilliant, mate. Well, very best of luck, and yeah, hope you do the damage.
Cheers, Tom. Thank you.
Well, here I am with Spud Murphy, section win from yesterday, and the man many people are tipping for day 2 success. What's the plan, Spud?
The plan is, first thing this morning, to draw a good peg, which we've done. Basically, the rest is down to me now. I can only fall over my own feet here. The plan is to try and catch a fish every run down.
Well, 95 peg this, right in the middle of the town, underneath the town road bridge, actually, isn't it, the main road bridge?
Yeah, the epicentre. This is it. Yeah.
So, plan of attack?
Half a dozen balls at the start and run a bunch of maggots with a piece of meat over it.
You notice meat's coming more and more to the fore as a bait on it. I'm looking on your side tray there. It's
yeah.
What you'd perhaps expect on a commercial in summer more than a river in.
The trick is to avoid the dace and bleak.
Yeah.
It's all about chub, so you don't catch anything else on meat. Just every run, if you have a bite, it's a chub.
Excellent. Well, very best of luck, pal.
Thanks, mate.
So here we go, folks. Peg 95 and Spud Murphy, the man many people are tipping to take the win in this one. Obviously, the match has just got underway. He's had 1 chub already. This is fish number 2 for Spud, so off to a nice start already. But you can see the stamp of fish and why anglers are able to so easily build those big weights. They're proper sort of £1.5, £2 chub. So it's going to be a very, very interesting day today. Obviously, Spud, we've said, is on a section win, and he's drawn the peg that won the match yesterday. £153, I believe, came off this yesterday. Fantastic weight. So see why Spud's got room to be optimistic now. Down below him on 96, which is also a very fancy peg, we've got Dave Wallace. Dave's a brilliant angler as well, so you can see there's no room for holding back on here. Spud being really, really aggressive with the feed. Going it in there. In the background you've got Hereford Cathedral there. It's a very, very iconic bit of river, this one. Spud just fishing a long rod. I think the cadence rods he's got there by the looks of it. Very aggressive with the loose feed. The bait tray is more akin to what you'd expect to see on a commercial in July than a river in winter. Oh, look at that, straight on it. And you can see why this man's got a reputation as being one of the very best, although that one's actually slipped the hook. It will sometimes take a while to settle the fish down and get them feeding confidently. Hempen caster in the catapult there, nice and aggressive. And he's just dabbing his finger on the spool, he's not back winding. Just giving him that float control, and look at that, straight into a fish. Absolute joy to watch. Like a good fish, that does. Oh yeah, got a lovely chub. Got a lovely start for Spud. Good stamp chub straight away. You can see everything's set up for efficiency. He's sort of wedging his rod under his butt there. He's got all his bait to hand, ground bait in front of it. Slight adjustment to the rig this time. He's actually changing. It's interesting. Think of a different bollow rod. Just a little underarm cast down the middle of the river. I'm following that in with a nice pouch full of meat and corn that time, by the looks. And again, he's just got that technical wow, there's a fast bite there. Because it was controlling his strike, he can actually let that run down into the feed. Often does on these matches, I've noticed, take anglers a while to really find the rhythm. It's hard because you've got to get the fish in front of you and feeding confidently. Now we know the fish are there. I'll put that one straight away. That had it on the drop almost, that did. But it's not always just a case of that one's coming in nicely. It's not always a case of going in and absolutely shedding up straight away. It does take a while to get the fish feeding how you want them. That's a nice spud for a nice chub for Spud again. He's certainly doing what he set out to do with regard to avoiding those nuisance fish. Every fish he's had up to now has been real quality, so that's a good fish. Pound and a half at least. A brilliant start for Spud. Nice underarm cast. Pouch full of meat and corn. And there we are, straight away, look at that. You can see why he's known as one of the very best at this style of fishing. Although that one might have snagged him up. There are some snags here, as you can imagine, a road bridge. We do get people throwing all sorts of things off the bridge. And braid under the water apparently. A little tactical change. You can just about see it at the right hand side of the camera there. Dave Wallace slipping another chub in the net on 96. We'll hook on the change for Spud after finding that. Straight back into fish. Oh, lovely. So a simple underarm cast down the middle of the river, following it in with hempen casters. Straight on it then. Just dabbing that spool with his middle finger, controlling that float, and boom, into a fish. Just an absolute joy to watch. And you can certainly see why he's regarded as one of the very best at this game. Keeps that rod nice and low. And there we are, another nice chub. folks, I've just moved a little bit further along the river, and I've been reliably informed that Andy Neal, who we're filming now, is catching very, very well, and a couple of people have even said they think he's catching quicker than Spud down on 95, so a great start for him. Obviously festival sponsor as well. He's the man behind Milo and the bait tech deal, so another nice chub coming to the net for him. Look at that. Again, lovely stamp fish. Andy, of course, a real all-rounder, does brilliant on the commercial scene and on the rivers, and look at that, he's even held it up for the camera. Beautiful. He loves a bit of showboating. If you've got it, flaunt it, Andy, that's what I've been told, mate. Nice. Proper Italian bolo rod there, that one. Team Europe, I think it's called, looking at it. Fishing probably about third to halfway across, and another one straight away. Look at that. How nice is that? This river is absolutely teeming with fish, folks. One shed the hook, curse of the camera, that one. He's back in. Interestingly, Andy's just fishing with maggots by the looks of it. We saw Spud obviously with more extravagant baits, your meat and corn and that sort of thing, but Andy's going down a much more traditional route. Oh, pull the hook on that one. It's a positive shotting pattern. Olivet nice and low down for little droppers. He's actually just taking a dropper off at the minute. Lens change. Two reds on the hook, on the looks of it. And I'm going for an overhead cast. Casting slightly upstream, on the looks of it, or no, straight in front of him, I'd say. Nice feed in there. Ball at the back of the float. So a much more traditional approach from Andy, I'd say, much more ground bait and maggot based from what I'm seeing, and Spud's meat corn particle attack. Another fish on for him though. Oh no, might be a snag. Might be a stick. It's a rig, it's a whole rig. It's his own rig, oh it's your own rig. Might even have a fish on it, was it? Oh. Oh, some snags in the river here, folks. It is a typical urban river, so there'll be the odd shopping trolley down there and such. And until Andy's not a Yorkshireman, he's letting that other boller float away. If I was in, I'd be in for that. I'll be swimming.
You won't get any free off Dave Harrell, will you?
As Andy just pointed out, you won't get any freebies off Dave Harrell. Many a true word. Fair play to Dave though. I think his floats are the best for this sort of fishing, along with the woodies ones. Oh, there we are. As you can see, plenty of fish for my old mate Andy. I think I can safely say on behalf of all the anglers taking part that everyone's grateful to him, because he's backed this competition for quite some years now. Always good prizes up for grabs. And it's nice to see him getting among some fish. So we'll watch him catch one more and we'll carry on up. Well, I've moved up to peg 92 now, and I'm sat behind Jack Jones now. Jack's a brilliant angler on this river, very consistent. Member of the mighty Daiwa Dorking team, which tells you how good he is, and he's having a lovely run. He's in a slightly lighter rig than Andy and Spud. He's told me because he's broke off on his bigger one, but the interesting thing is I've been sat here and he's definitely catching as quick as those two, and he's actually missing less bites. It's quite literally had a fish every single put in while I've been sat here. Very, very efficient. You can see a lot of the same nice chub that everybody else is catching, so absolutely lovely to watch. Now interestingly, like Andy, Jack's favouring maggots on the hook. You can see there he's got some bronze and some red maggots on the hook. And feed wise, he's got a real mix of particles in his ground bait there. I can see some meat in there, some dead maggots, corn, casters. A really good aggressive attack, which is exactly what this river commands. So just watch this, lovely little underarm flick. He's feeding by catapult to make it as accurate as you can. Little sausage of ground bait on his float. Really took the bristle off his float with that one. And then just really letting the float go. He's not having to hold on to it as much as the other lads with the bigger floats. Letting it go through at pace, it's lovely, just bobbling along. And it's probably about 1 o'clock where he's been getting his bites, and he's just getting to that now. Again, he's mastered that little flick that we spoke about, whereby he's not having to reset his rig when he's missed a bite. Definitely seems a key skill on here, that all the best lads are doing. Although I will say that is again a curse of the camera situation, because even though he's got one now, until he's had that one, he hasn't missed a bite on his first stab. So he had 4, I think, when I was setting the camera up. Every one of them on his first bite. So I think Jack's possibly catching quicker than anyone I've seen. He's just not making any, I wouldn't say mistakes, but he's pretty flawless in his smoothness at the moment. Really efficient. And although it's probably fair to say you'd expect this peg to get beat by 95, 96, I don't think that will be the case today. I think Jack could be causing a real serious upset here, folks. Absolutely beautiful display of angling. So we'll carry on upriver. Very, very tight battle for this section, I'd say. Tight sort of three-way battle between Jack, Andy and Spud. Carry on up the river. See what's happening further down. Right, we've moved up to the next section up now, folks, and I'm sat behind a good mate of mine, James Robbins, and me and Monty Dog, who's surveying the scene as well from his little ledge there. We're being treated to an absolute masterclass, really, in big stick fishing. James, oh, actually no, he's on a bollow now by the looks of it. He's fishing about, I don't know, a third of the way across the river. Maggots on the hook, and he's throwing ground bait by hand. It's a fish every chuck for James, but they do seem a bit smaller stamp down here than they are further up around the bridges where we started off with Spud and everybody. So I hope we're going to have a canoe come through at the moment. Just to, that was dicing with death, but he did it. A boat activity. There is a thriving rowing club and scene on the river here. But interestingly, I think James could well be in running for 2 wins. He won his section yesterday, low weight. He was up in the hardest part of the match, but he did win his section. Now if he can get another win today, he's going to put him on 2 wins, and then it'll obviously come down to who else wins their section. But James, of course, isn't in with those mighty pegs on and around the bridge. His section ends at peg 91, I believe, which is Jeff Briley. And everyone I've spoken to up to now in this bit haven't really put an awful lot together, so it's looking very favourable for James, who's admitting to sort of £40 already. We're about halfway through the match now, so £40 for him's a really promising weight. Let's have a quick look while we're talking on this section exactly who's in it, and try and give you a good update as to exactly where he'll be. So this particular section with James's peg, yeah, where are we? So 85 to 90 this one would be. And yeah, he's definitely doing about the best from what I've seen in that up to now. So looking good for James, to be fair, although he's not managed to catch one yet for the camera with all the oh, there we are, he has now. Only a small one, mind, compared to the stamp he was catching earlier. A dace, maybe that as well. First dace we've seen on camera, I'm going to say that. I'm looking at his selection of rods there. He's got a waggler, bolo, a big stick, or 2 bolos should I say, a waggler and a big stick. So he's really sort of covered the options there. James, of course, the man behind Cadence, and doing a fine job of making their rods look absolutely splendid. Mending the line, a few waves just coming down the river now in the boats. We've already seen an interesting array of float styles used. This big stick certainly yielding plenty of bites for James, but we can see that smaller stamp of fish, so we'll carry on down, see what else is going off. But James Robbins, as it stands, I'd say on course for a 2nd section win. Right, we've got the long lens on, folks, and we're focusing on Andrew Cranston, who's just netting a lovely chub there. While I've been sat here filming James, he's had a fish every single put in, and they're definitely a lot bigger than the stamp that's being caught on this bank. Now Andrew was 2nd in his section yesterday with a lovely barbel, and from what I've seen he's comfortably catching more than the anglers I've seen on his bank at the minute. So he's got Carl Biddle on the end, obviously who won his section the day before, and Carl's catching a few fish. From what I've seen, Andrew's definitely catching more consistently. Andrew, of course, England Youth International, and he's recently started travelling out with the senior team as well, so I'd say he's a hopeful for the full England team in a few years. I'm going to love the display of bolo fishing. Now, the thing about the Wye, in particular this sort of style of fishing, it does lend itself incredibly well to those anglers looking to make a dent on the international scene, because where else in the UK can you do this sort of thing? There's not that many circuits where there's big matches and you catch so well on things like the Bolognese and whip. So it is a good training ground for England internationals. Rory Jones, of course, one of the most successful anglers of his generation. He was ranked number 1, I believe, in the world at under 25 level. He cut his teeth on here. Andrew Cranston, hoping maybe to follow in his footsteps. Although they are big shoes to fill, it must be said. Some more bait. Which had James saying to me, oh, he's having to ration his bait now. He's almost not running out, but very easy to feed too much on here. You get carried away being aggressive. That's another fish for Andrew though on the long rod. Looks like a proper bollo rod that actually from over here, but lovely fishing. Look at that. And he swung it. That's a boy. Oh. Get the chest plate on, sir. Very good to watch. Although, say if I was awarding an angler marks for their feeding accuracy, bear in mind it's hard to do at 20 metres, and bear in mind mine would literally be all over the river, so I'm not trying to say I could do any better than anybody. But if I had to say who I've seen who impresses me the most with the feeding, James Robbins is quite scary. You can see now why he likes those dome top floats, at least you can't snap the bristle off them when you're chucking your balls. And Andrew's back in. How are you doing? You alright? Not bad. So yeah, another fish there for him. You can see how fast he's catching. And it looks like he's getting the right stamp fish as well, looking to get some nice chub, and yeah, they definitely look a bigger stamp than what they're catching on this bank anyway. Yeah, nice job of crumping them, to be honest. Monty's not happy, making his feelings known. So, Andrew Cranston, second yesterday, looking like, to me anyway, like he's comfortably on for a section win today. So we are back down behind Spud now, folks, and as you can see, he's really started to line some fish up. It's fantastic fishing. Still on that big bollo float down the middle of the river. And the fish are really lined up. You see there, good stamp chub. And he's really found his rhythm. I did say it sometimes takes a little while for anglers to really settle down into the day. I mean, he had a good start, being dead aggressive. He was feeding hemp, I think, and corn. Bits of meat, occasionally ball the ground bait as well. So he's really mixing up in terms of the feed. You can see there that the main thing to notice is the rhythm. He's won every single put in for him, and he's just an absolute joy to watch. Thing today, so he had to backwind on that one then. It's a stand for these fish, you know. Last year we saw Rory catch 250 pound weight of them, and there were more fish, but there were smaller fish, and perhaps he was able just to control them a bit easier. Now they're a bit bigger. It does look like the anglers, every angler I'm watching is having to really sort of play these fish to make sure they end up in the net. I will say, although the weights might be slightly lower now, they're a bit bigger, the fishing actually looks more enjoyable because every fish is a battle. As you can see just how nice they are. So Watch again with that rhythm. Little underarm cast. Following in with a ball this time. He's varying that. Sometimes he's loose feeding, sometimes he's chucking a ball in. And then he's straight on his float, straight in control. Following it down. He's just dabbing the spool with his finger. Nice controlled strike, so he gets 2 bites of the cherry every time. He's not having to recast after his first strike. Easing it down, and there we are, another fish. That's what a master at work looks like, folks. I'd say he's our front runner at the moment. Oh, lovely. So another nice fish there for him. And that has been the order of the day up to now. Right, folks, we're going up towards the top end of the match length now, peg 81, and things are a lot harder up here. I'm sat behind a good mate of mine, Joe Holloway. Joe is the reigning champion on this festival. He won it last year. He had a section win yesterday and was looking really good going into today. And to be honest, it's not looking too bad for him at the moment. He's admitting to about £20. He's had some chub early on the bollo, big perch on the whip, and now he can't get a bite. Now that's the fate of most anglers in this section, by the sounds of it. Since the first hour, there's not been a lot at all caught, with the exception of Brian Rigby, who's admitting at the moment to about £18. So Joe's got £20 and a big weight from yesterday. Brian admitting to £18. He's neck and neck. I wouldn't want to call who's going to end out on top here, but never mind Joe's weight from yesterday, which was substantial. If he does end up on 2 wins, he could well up the leaderboard, if not taking top spot, certainly knocking on the door. So the fishing's hard up here. The section above the railings, don't think anything's been caught at all on that section up to now. Adrian Whittle opposite there has managed a £7 bream on the waggler, which is incredible fish. I think that's one of the few bites in that section opposite as well. So very tough fishing on the upper reaches, but down in the town, as we know, things are really hotting up. So we're going to get back down there and see what's happening. Right, folks, we're back behind Jack Jones. And as you can see, he's really up the ante now. He's bagging on the whip, and this is great to watch. The fact is, he can now really get those fish where he wants them, and there's no way, I'm going to say, on this river of catching quicker than what he's doing right now. So I think he's about 6 metres to hand there. Out he goes, just following it out with the whip. All the ground bait. Beautiful. But them fish look bigger, if anything. Looks like his stamp's improved. And while I've been walking about, I've had 2 or 3 people come up to me and tell me how well he's catching, so he's obviously having a good day. Although I've had probably an equal number tell me they think that Andy Neal's doing the damage. I'm not so sure. Look at that. I think Jack here is going to seriously take some beating. He's had a brilliant start on the bollo. He's now absolutely clattering him on this whip to hand. Incredible fishing. It's definitely going to be over £100 anyway, his catch. Watch again. Two or three maggots on the hook. We've got a ground bait at the back of the float. And the rig on the float. The float on the bait, should I say. Slowing it down a bit. Thing is with this, obviously, it may not look quicker, but it generally is when you time it, because there's no messing about with a recast. It's all on one line, as it were. That's got to be a bite, surely. No. Might be dragging under. The fact that he's managed to bring the fish onto this line bodes well for him, though. There we are, that's another one. He's really slaying him now on this. Thing is, a big fish to catch on a whip. And look at that, that is a cracking chub. £2 to £3 some of these fish. Well, certainly £2 anyway. Watch him catch one more. Zoom out for scale for you folks. As you can see, I've ditched the tripod. The hands are freezing carrying that around, so I thought we'll go handheld for a bit. Rig in place. Pull the ground bait at the back of the float. Got one on already. Wow, that must have grabbed the bait on the way down, that one. Truly frightening, the quality of this fishing. Well, I know my money's on for the match win, and it's the man in front of me now. If anyone's catching quicker than this, I'd like to see it. His best river weight up to now is £80. I'm guessing he could double that today. Now, we said one more after the last one, but we'll have one more. In she goes. All ground bait. Oh my god. That is some fishing. How many chub are sat down there, folks? And that's another one in the onion sack. Special fishing, folks, and Jack here on for a ridiculous weight, I'm going to say. I just want to take a minute out, folks, to tell you about some of the live matches we've got available to channel members that will be of interest to river anglers. First and foremost, we were lucky enough to join Bob Nudd for his first ever live match, which he filmed on the River Wye. A fascinating insight into one of river fishing's greatest minds. I did a live match on the Don in a festival that I managed to come second in the end, and I caught a big net of small fish on carrot floats. Really interesting fishing. And of course, we've got Rory Jones winning a match in the 3-day festival last November on the famous 96 peg on the River Wye. That's just one of lots of live matches we've got on there, on commercials and all sorts of different venues. And all you've got to do to get access to these is join our channel members area. You can do this off a desktop or laptop. Click the join button that you see at the top there, enter your card details, and you are good to go. We add to what's already there with at least 4 fresh videos every month, and at least one of those is a live match. So it's a library of content that's exclusive and constantly building. Hope you enjoy it, folks. Well, folks, we're back down where we started, behind Spud Murphy. Spud, of course, won his section yesterday, and well, we started off filming him catch a fisher chuck, and while I've been here, he's had a fisher chuck. He's on for a ridiculous weight today. Certainly, I guess over 150 pound, and I'd love to say that'll definitely be enough to win him the section and win him the festival. I can't say that because of just how well Jack Jones has been catching when I've been with him. Now Jack, as we saw, has been absolutely rapid. Caught first of all on that bollow, he's then caught really well on the whip. Although he does tell me he had a bad hour when things went a bit quiet for him in the middle. And I didn't see that. So what the final weights will be, I really don't know. Rumour on the bank, somebody's walking about and just said that Spud's probably going to have 180 pound, which is a huge weight. I mean, but look, could well be true. Pace at which he's catching is quite incredible. And he's really, really got the bit between his teeth now. He's really making it happen. So I wouldn't want to call this one, folks. A wonderful display of angling. Well, quite a few wonderful displays of angling, but in particular today from Spud, who we're seeing here, and Jack Jones, who's been an absolute joy to watch. Right, Spud's finished up on the same bollow he started on. Real mixed stamp of Spud's fish, you know. Some smaller, some larger. It does look like Jack's maybe had the odd bigger fish as well. But he's catching so fast, Spud, doing it so efficiently. You can't bet against him, can you? Still feeding just as aggressively now with minutes of the match remaining as he was at the start. Those chub are hungry fish. I mean, he's really trying to line them up, so there we are, look. He's going for it now. Absolute joy to watch. So there you are, folks. Will it be Spud Murphy who'll lift the title this year? James Robbins will almost certainly have 2 section wins. Joe Holloway will almost certainly, might be wrong, but I would have thought have 2 section wins. But if Spud wins his, I'm going to say the weight difference will be too much for anybody to catch him. And it's between him, in my opinion, and Jack Jones. Andy Neal also has caught really well, so outside chance for him, but Let's see what happens.
Overalls, 6th place with 3 points, 1 section win and a combined weight of £63 14 ounces was James Robbins.
Thanks, Sam.
Well done, James. James, can you want to stay up here, Tom?
Okay.
Is that, yeah, just stand over there, that's brilliant. 5th place, also with 3 points, 1 section win and a total weight of £163 4 ounces was Andrew Cranston. Well done. 4th, with 2 points, 2 section wins and a weight of £97 2 ounces was Joe Holloway. Well done, Joe. 3rd with 2 points and 2 section wins and a combined weight of £133 7 ounces with Bob Giles. Yeah, Bob. Well done, mate.
Cheers, Dave.
And your runner-up this year with 2 points, 2 section wins, a total weight of £178 2 ounces is Chris Stevens. Well done, Chris. There you go, yours. Over there. And your champion for 2025, thoroughly deserved, brilliant performance both days. 2 points, 2 section wins, a total weight of £281 4 ounces, Spud Murphy. Well done, mate. There you go, guys. Thank you, everyone, and safe journey home.
Well, we have a new festival champion, and that's what a day on the wine makes you look like, but you must be buzzing, Spud.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely wrecked.
Talk us through it, pal.
Oh, I knew it was going to be a race, but I've had some mid-match kind of issues with ducks. Took one of my rigs and a braid snag took another. But I think when you're catching that many fish, everybody has a funny spell. So I mean, I counted 95 chub, and I thought I may have 150. So to have 192 was incredible. So
well, that is a £2 average. For
yeah, it is. Yeah, 50 in the first half of the match and 45 in the second half. Incredible.
Tactics wise, so you fished down the middle of the river.
Bolo, yeah, 6 gram bolo. I had 4 chucks and a waggler, never went under once. So back on a bolo, and they come strong in spells, and then they kind of back off a bit. But I think they were going upstream and downstream because Dave below me was suffering the same spells. But I think the moral of the story was you had to put a lot of feed in just to hold them because they're ravenous.
Incredible net of fish. What were you fishing on the hook to avoid the small fish?
Meat, corn, and little boilies as well.
Okay, little boilies. Yeah, I saw you dipping it in a tub. I wondered what they were.
That's all right, so people know.
Lovely. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Well done, mate. Incredible net of fish. And yeah, well, all I can say is a very, very deserving champion. Well done, Spud.
Thank you, mate.